Y'all, it's looking like Diddy is about to walk free after all, and word on the streets is Cassie is crashing out. After everything that's gone down, the trial finally came to an end, and the jury's decision set the internet on fire. But behind the scenes, Cassie is not taking this well, and reports say she's been completely breaking down. And the wildest part, she supposedly feels betrayed by the prosecutors, like they turned their backs on her when she needed them the most. Now, insiders are saying she's terrified that with Diddy walking free, he's coming straight for her. Let's break down how this is unfolding because it's a hot mess. Okay, so everyone thought that Diddy would definitely be found guilty and would be doing a long prison stint. I mean, at first, the case against him seemed to be pretty solid, but as the trial came to an end, it started to get really shaky. And it didn't take long for fans to start speculating that the feds had lost confidence in their own case, especially when they decided to drop some charges just before closing arguments. According to reports, in a letter to U.S. District Judge R.N. Subramanian, prosecutors said they will no longer pursue theories presented during the Blockbuster trial, including that the music mogul was involved in attempted arson and kidnapping. For a little context, the arson charges were tied to that whole Kid Cudi situation when Diddy allegedly blew up Kid Cudi's car after finding out he had a brief thing with Cassie. As for the kidnapping charges, those came from two separate incidents. Diddy's former assistant, Capricorn, who says she was taken to a building and forced to do a lie detector test over his missing jewelry. And Cassie, who claims she was held at the London hotel against her will. Y'all know that Capricorn, Cassie, and Kid Cudi didn't hold back during the trial. The testimonies were wild, the evidence seemed solid, and honestly, it looked like the feds had this case locked in, but out of nowhere, they switched up. Right before closing arguments, when everything was supposed to be wrapping up, they suddenly told the judge they were dropping charges. Well, the verdict finally came back, and Diddy was found not guilty on the bigger charges of RICO and trafficking. The RICO charges carried a maximum life sentence, while the 2 counts of trafficking carried minimum 15 years and maximum life sentence each. But on the bright side, he was found guilty on the lesser charges of transportation for the purpose of prostitution, aka the Mann Act. He faces a maximum sentence of 10 years for each of those counts. So while he'll probably be doing some time, it's not nearly as much time as we thought he was going to. Oh, and don't even get me started on how he might even be getting a presidential pardon.
You mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me.
So yeah, it's understandable that Cassie would be upset over this, especially since her lawsuit was what got the ball rolling in the first place. Oh, and don't even get me started on how she bared her soul on the stand during her testimony. For example, while she was being cross-examined by the prosecutor, she admitted that Diddy would force her to do freak-offs even when she was on her period and get urinated on. The prosecutor also asked her, "Did you want to be urinated on?" And Cassie replied, "No, I did not want it." The prosecutor then asked her how it felt, and she replied, "It was disgusting, it was too much. I choked. No one could think I wanted it." When asked why she choked and if she wanted Diddy to pee in her mouth, she replied, "Too much urine in my mouth. I didn't want anyone to urinate on me. It was obvious I didn't want to be on the ground being urinated on by 2 men." It was a tough time for her, and when Diddy's verdict was announced, her lawyer released a statement on her behalf. The statement said, "This entire criminal process started when our client Cassie Ventura had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. Although the jury did not find Combs guilty of trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice." He then went on to show support for Cassie, saying, "We must repeat with no reservation that we believe and support our client who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial. She displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades without repercussion. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of survivors." That's not all, because word on the streets is that she feels betrayed by the prosecutors. She allegedly feels like prosecutors dropped the ball with the trial and they didn't give it their best shot. They supposedly promised her that her testimony was going to help them nail Diddy and put him away for a long time, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. It doesn't even look like he's going to be doing much time, if any at all, especially if he gets the presidential pardon like the streets are saying. But it didn't end there, because after the guilty verdict verdict, Diddy's lawyers petitioned that he be released on bond until sentencing. Cassie's lawyer immediately clapped back and asked the judge not to release Diddy on bond because Cassie was terrified that he would come after her. And he said, "We write as counsel for Cassandra Ventura to respectfully request that the court deny Mr. Combs to be released pending his sentencing on his 2 convictions. Detention is mandatory post-conviction on these charges, and Ms. Ventura believes that Mr. Combs is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testified in this case, including herself, as well as to the community." This is understandable given how Diddy treated Cassie in the past when she went against him. For example, when she spoke to another producer in the club because she was trying to push her career forward, Diddy went off on her in the car. In her 2023 lawsuit, she wrote, "Mr. Combs beat Ms. Ventura, pushing her into a corner of the vehicle and stomping on her face. When the car arrived at Mr. Combs' residence, Ms. Ventura attempted to run away, but Mr. Combs followed her and proceeded to again kick her in the face. Ms. Ventura was bleeding profusely and was ushered into Mr. Combs' home, where she began to throw up from the violent incident." She went on to say, "His beatings often left her with bruises, and he was so desperate to hide this that he did all he could to hide it." The court document said, "Over the next decade, multiple times each year, Mr. Combs would beat Ms. Ventura, leaving bruises on her body. After every instance in which he beat Ms. Ventura, Mr. Combs used his money and power to orchestrate extensive efforts to hide the evidence of his abuse, including by hiding Ms. Ventura in hotels for days at a time to let her bruises heal." Oh, and let's not forget how he blew up Kid Cudi's car after Cudi messed around with Cassie, even though Diddy and Cassie were on a break at the time. Or how he viciously put pause on his assistant Capricorn after he found out that Capricorn knew about Cassie and Cudi and didn't tell him. Or how Kimora Lee Simmons' house mysteriously caught on fire after she publicly showed support for Cassie. So Cassie's fears about Diddy coming after her in retaliation are valid. And lucky for her, the judge denied him bond and ordered that he remain in jail until his sentencing. At the end of the day, this whole situation has people fired up, and rightfully so. The evidence was there, the witnesses showed up, and yet somehow Diddy's walking away untouched while the people who spoke out are left hanging. Cassie feels betrayed, Capricorn feels played, and folks like Kid Cudi are probably watching this unfold thinking, what was the point? One thing's for sure, this isn't over. The streets are talking, the internet's watching, and Diddy might have won this round, but his name is still knee-deep in controversy. But let me know what your thoughts are, and then check out this next video.